Hello everybody, I am FuzzyFace. Welcome back today to this Motorsport Manager career. We're back with Season 2. Last time out we finished second overall in the Constructors standings in Formula 3 behind the Prema Power team, a really powerful team at this level with Mick Schumacher and Maximilian Gunther. Our two drivers, the worst rated driver lineup. They started out as they are now the 9th rated driver lineup, just above the lineup from Van Amersfoort. We are going to be bringing in a new driver next season. Hopefully it's going to be Joseph Newgarden, returning from IndyCar. Joseph Newgarden, I think it was 2011 he drove for Carlin in GP3. In 2017 Newgarden is leading the IndyCar series with Team Penske. Hopefully he's going to make the switch over to us. He is a 3-star rated driver. The reason we're making a move, I've got a hunch that a lot of these teams are going to change their driver lineup in the off season, and we're going to see a lot of 3-star rated drivers making the switch to Formula 3, whereas now they're from 2 to 1 star. A lot of these, I guess, are going to start upgrading their drivers. If that happens, then we are prepared for that with Newgarden, and we're going to be keeping Vips on. Lundgaard is going to be going into the reserve seat, because now we are going to start making our push for winning Formula 3. Obviously last season we weren't really pushing, but still came second overall anyway, so that is what we're going to be doing. Newgarden hopefully is going to be signing with us. He turned down the first contract in the last episode. Hopefully he's going to accept the second contract. But we've got the car design unlocked. We've got £10 million coming into the team, so we've got £32 million overall. If we look what we've got engine wise, we've got an Opel engine rated very weak, a Mecha Chrome weak and medium for improvability, and Renault very weak and very strong. Obviously this one is discounted, usually £1 million, but we've got it discounted by 5%. This is the one we're going to be accepting. We don't really need improvability because we've only got the brakes part that we can improve, and obviously if we move up from F3 to F2 we're going to get the gap sort of made up for us anyway, so we don't really need to improve the brakes too much. It is the only part. We don't need the base stat modifier for the engine because the engine is a spec part, as is the gearbox, the front wing, the suspension, the rear wing, so we don't need the improvability. There is a little bit of an improvement for fuel efficiency, but for the cost of it I don't really think that's worth it. Fuel supply, we've got Cepsa BP, Petrobras and Mobil 1, all rated very weak across the board, all costing £3 million. Is there any slight differences between these? There is a difference between, there are slight differences between the star ratings. The bottom one from Mobil 1 seems to take the fuel efficiency and improvability up to near enough 1 star. So even though they all cost the same, they've all got slightly different stats to them. Materials supplier, we've got Draker, we've got Torello, Delaria, cost ranging from £1 million all the way down to £4 million. Let's just have a look if there's any real differences between these. The one from Lola puts tie heating up. Not too much though. For the cost we're gaining, we're just going to go with this one just because it gets tie heating almost to 1 star. It's not neither here nor there. And then on brake suppliers, there's Cosworth, Brembo, Bosch and Magneti Marelli. Let's just have a look. Tyre heating, we can get it up to pretty much 2 stars for a little bit more. £6 million. We might as well spend the £6 million to get it that little bit further just for tyre heating. But this is pretty much all that we can do with the car. It's costing us just under £12 million, which is not too bad. This is what we were expecting. F3, you cannot really get any sort of decent stats on the chassis. We were really overpowered last season with what we accepted at the beginning of the season from the Root financial package. We got a 3-star chassis. We're going to be seeing what happens now when we've got a 1-star, because with the new patch these do no longer work in the thirds that they do. Whatever your rating is in tyre wear, tyre heat, I'm not sure if it's for all 3, but especially fuel efficiency, I'm not sure if it works for fuel efficiency. But anyway, the new patch, these star ratings more have an effect on what happens with the car, so it is important that you do get them up in later season, but this is the best that we can get out of the Formula 3 car. It's costing us £12 million. The livery edit will be coming up. We're just going to skip ahead to see if we can get this contract offer accepted. We can. Joseph Newgarden signed, so we're going to be getting rid of Enio Ferreira. He's going to be leaving the team. And Newgarden's going to be going into the slot of Christian Lundgaard, just because Jerry Vips last season did seem to be the much better driver than Christian Lundgaard. Vips outraced him for much of the season, so Newgarden is going to get this second slot now. Going to have a quick look where that rates us now. We're up into the third best driver lineup. I'm guessing we've got some other driver movements, but we're going to skip ahead now until we've got any more dilemmas. So we've got the first dilemma of the off season through. It is for tyre simulations. It is a +1 to tyre wear. It is a transaction of £2.5 million. That is going to go a long way to helping us this season. So with tyre wear getting us somewhere back to where we were last season, that puts tyre wear on pretty much, well, it's actually above, just about above what we got tyre heating to. We've done the livery edit for the new season, the gold taking a little bit more prominence on the car this season, but still keeping the same livery colours as last time, the gold, the white and the black. Nice little dotted detailing down the side pods. We've got the air intake on black and nice golden black rear wing. Nice little bit of detailing at the front, so I'm pretty happy with the livery edit this time. We're not that far away now from actually going to the pre-season testing. At that point we can go through what has happened to the driver lineup in F3, which is pretty interesting. We've had a lot of changes to the F3 driver lineup. We will also go through the F1 lineup as well. So we're at the start, we're about to go into pre-season testing now for the second season. We're just going to have a quick look at the driver lineups, what has happened. Just as we did, bringing Joseph Newgarden in, a lot of the other teams have brought in a lot of IndyCar drivers. Arden have dropped down, they've brought Ed Jones with them. They've also brought in Kanan. If we move on to Artline, they've brought in Robert Kubica. They've brought in the son of Alain Prost, Nico Prost, so a big upgrade there. Nearly 3-star drivers in both seats. We go to Carlin, they've brought in the Formula E driver Sebastian Buemi, who's also had some Formula 1 experience, finished second in Formula E in 2017. They've stuck with Luke Norris as well though. We have brought in Joseph Newgarden, we've kept the inexperienced Jerry Vips in the car. He's got 1 season under his belt with us. Hopefully he can still perform with the level of the drivers that are now around him. High Tech have brought in Michael Aleshin from IndyCar as well. Joey Mawson sticks at Coronan, as does Falchero. Motorpark stick with the same team as well. Mucke bring in Max Chilton, 3-star drivers, making the move from IndyCar to F3. Kemi Kobayashi does a lot of Super GT racing, has made this switch to F3 now. Toda Racing have stuck with Mardenbrat and Palau. Van Amersfoort have stuck with Pedro Piquet, but have brought in Alexander Rossi, another IndyCar driver as well. So a lot of IndyCar drivers making the switch to Formula 3 this season. It's going to be a really hard season, even with bringing Joseph Newgarden in. We thought we were going to be at a point where we might have a decent driver lineup. We are now rated 7th overall. This is going to be the driver lineup for this season. If these two guys can't cut it, then we're going to have to let Jory Vips maybe take the reserve role from Christian Lundgaard and then look at bringing in a new driver. Hopefully we've still got enough about us to win the championship. Last season with 2 1-star rated drivers we were able to get into second, but it's going to be really hard. Mucke, especially Arden, some really decent driver lineups for this level. We're just also going to have a quick look at the Formula 1 drivers. Force India has signed Valtteri Bottas from Mercedes. Esteban Ocon gets a second seat. Haas have stuck with Roman Grosjean and Kevin Magnussen. McLaren stick with Fernando Alonso and Stoffel Van Dorn. Mercedes keep Lewis Hamilton and Scott Dixon. Making the move from IndyCar from Chip Ganassi Racing, goes into the second seat. It's a little bit of a strange move. He's a little bit old, at 36 years old. Their driver lineup drops to third. It's going to be pretty interesting. They would be wanting to challenge Ferrari again, but obviously with Scott Dixon in that car, it's going to be a little bit hard for Mercedes to keep pace with Ferrari, depending on what their driver lineup is looking like. Rapax have made the move up. Nick De Vries is staying with the car, as does Sicotto Jr. Red Bull have stuck with Daniel Ricciardo and Max Verstappen. Renault, Nico Hulkenberg retains his seat as #1 driver. Sergei Sorokin, the junior driver, part of the Renault development program, makes the move up from reserve driver, takes Jolyon Palmer's seat. Jolyon Palmer, they're both rated about equally. They obviously are going to try and develop Sergei Sorokin this season to take their #1 seat. Sebastian Vettel and Kimi Räikkönen retain their seats at Ferrari. Danny Kvyat and Carlos Sainz retain their seats at Toro Rosso, and Lance Stroll and Felipe Massa retain their seats at Williams too, which means Sergio Perez doesn't have a seat this season in Formula 1. I wonder where he has actually ended up. Can we actually see him here? Sergio Perez. No, he's at McLaren. Is he reserve driver? Reserve driver at McLaren, so he's behind Stoffel Van Dorn. I didn't actually see him in the list there for McLaren when we were going through the team. Yeah, so he's actually gone behind Stoffel Van Dorn. Stoffel Van Dorn just about rated a little bit better than him. I don't think anyone else has made the move. George Russell is still at Mercedes. There's no real other big moves between the reserve drivers. Yeah, so Formula 1, a few changes. Formula 3, though, a lot of changes to the driver lineup, and it's going to be pretty hard to see how we're going to be competing with them. Joseph Newgarden, hopefully, is going to be quick enough to compete with some of these guys, but we're going to get into pre-season testing now, just see how quick we can actually be. Newgarden and Vips are setting pretty decent times, surprising with Vips, but look at that, Newgarden beating Kanaan here in the Arden, although they start to get above us. Muka Kame Kobayashi in the Muka, Pedro Piquet. So where are the other guys? Kubica slowest in the Artline car, surprising. Max Chilton pretty slow as well. We know they're not going to be like that when it comes down to the actual race day. So we're just going to continue here. This should load up pretty much the start of the new season. We're only 11 days away from Guildford, from the Silverstone Grand Prix. Aiming for first. We're always going to accept the lower down one just so we can get our marketability up, and so we're not at any risk of getting fired, and so we limit the money as well, just so it is a little bit harder going into this season. We've got £28 million in the bank. We are currently set to lose £1.1 million per race, but we can pick some more up through the Philip Morris sponsorship, who could pay us $400,000 if we finish 12th or above, so hopefully that's going to happen. So £700,000 per race over 8 races is over 8 races even is 5.6 million. So we do have a little bit of money here to get started on building some new things. So what we're going to do is build one of these, and then we're just going to leave it up to the staff what we build next. Keep it as that sort of challenge. We're not going to sort of follow any order. We're just going to start with one, and then if a staff member or a driver says we should be building this, that is what is going to go next on the list of things to build. So we just have a look. Braking improvement, corner. What we really want, though, I'm not really bothered about what we're building as for the parts. It's more about what we can improve on our drivers. We try to get Jerry Vips good enough that we can actually try and retain him before we have to try and maybe make a step to a new driver. So smoothness and consistency, adaptability. I really want cornering overtaking. I think that's going to be the best one that we can start to unlock. So we're going to start with the test track. We're going to retain £20 million in the bank. Maybe we should get something else building. What else is the cheapest one? The simulator, consistency and adaptability, cornering and smoothness. We'll go with the handling development centre as well. So that should be enough to get going this season. We've got £15 million left over, which is enough to see us through to the end of the season. We're putting away the maximum amount that we can for the car next year. We need to get in here and improve the brakes, ready for the first race. Whether they're going to be up there or not is another thing. The performance is already fully improved in this, but we might as well get that going as well. That'll be done at some point. It's not being worked on at all. Any difference if we swap them over? No, there isn't. So that's going to be done at about the same time. 4-point increase, but it's neither here nor there. Is there anything we can do to the brakes? As we said, my own rules, we can't build any risky parts, so we're going to go for this plus 20. It only costs £350,000. The prices in F3 are not that much, but it's going to take 20 days, so we're going to get that building. It's going to be done after this race. 7th rated overall drivers, sponsors just about their headquarters. Our staff are just on rolling contracts at the moment. They have all expired, so I might think about bringing in some new staff. So we're a couple of days away from the British Grand Prix. Jerry Vips is praising us that we've got one of the best tyre wears on the grid, so we've obviously done a good job there. We've made a few offers for staff. We've got David Country coming in, Christian Ergestein coming in as well. They're both decent all-rounders. We've gone for one that's decent on performance, looking for on this side, and then decent at pit stops as well, whereas Ergenstein is better on the reliability side, and he's pretty much all around. On this mod, all the staff, they're pretty wildly different. You can't get a pretty hard to find a pretty much good all-rounder at 10, so I'm pretty happy with the staff. So we're going to give Ergenstein over Mohammed Wagenman. He's going, costs us a little bit of money, not too much though, and David Country then will replace Isabella Osmanagic, 150,000. So where does that put us now with staff? We're not going to replace our lead designer just because it's not important, the building parts at this point. When we do reach GP2, then she will be replaced. We're still only 8th overall, so we're just going to skip ahead these couple of days until the next race. I don't think there's going to be any news items up to then. No, there isn't, but we've completed the performance work now, so things are actually going a little bit quicker in the garage from what we were doing because we've got better staff now. So yeah, Ergenstein's the one that's a little bit better at reliability. We're going to be accepting the sponsorship offer from Philip Morris. Hopefully we can get 12th or above in this race. But anyway, we're going to get into the race weekend now. Practice qualifying will be done off camera, and we will be back in a second for the British Grand Prix. Qualifying over, Joseph Newgarden did really well, getting up into 5th place in our FuzzyFace Racing team. Jerry Vipser a long way down the order in 17th. If he keeps on down here and we're getting in trouble and our job is looking insecure, we might have to replace him before the end of the season. But anyway, most of the new drivers taking up the top of the order: Ed Jones, Camus Kobayashi in the mucker, Max Chilton in the mucker as well, Buemi, Kubica, Tony Kanaan. We've got 2 Chip Ganassi races here with Max Chilton and Tony Kanaan. Obviously the other Chip Ganassi racer, Scott Dixon, made the move to Mercedes, so Max Chilton and Tony Kanaan will be a little bit feeling hard done by that. They've ended up in F3, whereas Scott Dixon, the older driver, although I think Kanaan as well, the Brazilian's a little bit on there in age, but Max Chilton, I don't know where he is, nearly 30 or just over 30, is he? I'm not quite sure anyway. But anyway, they'll be feeling a little bit hard done by that. Scott Dixon somehow got the number 2 seat at Mercedes, but we're meeting the Carlin, so it's going to be interesting what is going to happen here during these couple of races that we've got coming up, where we're going to be compared to the other good drivers around us. We didn't actually weight strip in qualifying because the car is not really there. It's not really worth doing it. We're only going down to 75%. I don't think the computer is going to be doing much weight stripping, and we're only going to do a little bit. We do have a little bit more knowledge on tyres and different trims because Newgarden's a lot better. Is a lot better at feedback. So we're just going to see what we're going to do with the tyres here. We've got 14 laps coming up, 7 and 9, so we can pretty much do it. So we're going to be starting off on the soft tyre, going to the mediums for Newgarden. We're not going to take a lap out because the fuel will be a lot different this season. Vips can just about do it, but we're going to start him off on the medium just to see whether we can get onto that soft tyre for the end. He might have to do it on 2 sets of mediums. We're going to come out pushing, although I'm expecting the fuel rate is a lot different now. So we're going to go with the mediums for Vips just because he's going to be on that, and whereas we're going to be on softs for Newgarden. So let's get in and start this race now. Hopefully Newgarden is a decent starter. As you can see, the new livery looking nice on race day here. It just shows up perfectly just to how it matches. Can't actually get closer than that. I think this actual speed mods actually... Oh! What was that? We got someone running way wide there, back down the order. That's one of the muckers. I don't know which one it is. We were not too bothered about that, but Newgarden anyway is off to a decent start. I think this speed mod has gone off because it's running a little bit slower than it was doing. But we're just going to go ahead. Newgarden up into 2nd, managed to get behind Ed Jones here. Just have to go through. I think he's in the Arden. Yes, Arden is the yellow car. Just have to get used to the new drivers at the new team. So... But Newgarden away here. But as we can see, we've only done 1.5 laps and we're already 0.6 down on the tyres already. On the fuel load already. So that is something we're going to have to watch in future races because the star rating for fuel efficiency is so low. I don't even think we should be able to just about recover that on medium. What are we going to be recovering per lap now at the moment? Let's just get round here. See Newgarden. He's going to come across the line at 0.54. What is he going to recover in a lap? But he's doing really well at the moment. He's keeping Ed Jones off him. Actually gaining time on him here. The That is only 0.4 per lap. There's 10 laps remaining. So we're going to have to run in low mode at some point. But Vips as well, he's doing pretty decently. His tyre's getting pretty cold on this medium set, so we're going to let him push a little bit. We've got no room at all to push with the fuel though, so we're going to have to keep going like this until the end of the race. Lap 5 going. Newgarden's got a 2.2 second lead over Jones. Robert Kubica in third. Can't remember which team he actually signed for. Artline Engineering. We've got Aleshin in the high-tech in fourth. Kobayashi in the Mucka in fifth place. Sebastian Buemi Canaan. So pretty much all of the new drivers up here. Joey Mawson, last season's champion, all the way down in 14th in the Corran, and Corran are going to be really struggling because they didn't make any improvements to their driver lineup at all. We're going to be getting Joseph Newgarden into the pits at some point. Look at that, on his soft tyres, he's pretty much done the same. That's because we've been pushing Vips for a little bit. So Vips is going to come in, possibly. We're going to get Newgarden in this lap. We've got no soft tyres because we used one in practice and then we used two for qualifying. Maybe we're not going to... But Newgarden wouldn't have been where he would have been on the grid. He would have been 10th after his first qualifying lap. So we did need to use his second set to get him ahead. But he's going to be able to push on this medium tyre. We do have a lot of life in it, so he's going to be able to get in and push on this medium tyre, which should be decent enough. Vips as well. He's going to get in for the quicker tyre this time, so he should be a little bit quicker than a lot of the other cars around him. But hopefully Newgarden can get in and out of the pits now. We've got new race mechanics. We've got new people working these pit stops, so hopefully they're going to be decent enough at doing these pit stops. And yes, we are. That is nice and quick there. Vips, meanwhile, he's into the pits as well. He's going to be pushing on this new set for a little bit. He's a little bit quicker than Newgarden's pit stop, but yep, that's all right. Newgarden 90.8 seconds behind. He's actually gaining on the cars in front here, so he's going to be pushing them there into the pits. Newgarden comes out in front. Aleshin drops back to fourth. It's Kubica behind him. Ed Jones has dropped down to 7th place. He lost a lot of time through the pits, but Kubica, he's come in for a used pair of soft tyres as Kubica. The engine feels slightly down on power for Vips, although I'm hoping that can get to the end of the race. We're going to go back to medium with him. We can still keep pushing on this with Newgarden, but his engine's getting out there already. So I'm guessing these have lost reliability a little bit more. So maybe the chassis this season has a little bit more of effect on what you can get out of the engine. Look, the engine's really dropping this season. A 75% engine would have got us to the end of the race last year. It's just about pushing it this year. So we can cool these tyres down now. Newgarden's 4 seconds ahead. It looks like he's got the race won. So we need to go low mode. I think Vips might just be able to get to the end of the race. We don't really want to push him because he's in the points at the moment. Max Chilton is behind him in the mucker. He's lapping quicker than him. But can we do it on this last lap? We're going to have to go low mode, otherwise we're going to run out of fuel. Just try to recover a little bit of this lap. Go back to medium mode. The engine 3%. Is he going to make it to the end of this race? Newgarden is going to come across the line in first place. Newgarden wins the first race of the season. Jerry Vips, meanwhile, 10th place. It's going to be 10th. His engine has blown on the line, but he gets across the line in 10th place. He manages to finish. His engine just blowing up right there at the end. But a brilliant win for Newgarden in his first race in Formula 3. He has raced for Carlin in GP3 before, but this is his first race in F3. A brilliant win for Joseph Newgarden. Robert Kubica comes second. Obviously, his motorcycle accident taking a lot out of him, not being able to win in Formula 3. Checking the cars, no problems with the cars. Ed Jones set the quickest lap of the race. Aleshin had a 10-second penalty, but still finishing 8th place in the high-tech. And hopefully, well, not hopefully, it's just a shame that wasn't a little bit more, and we would have had Jerry Vips up into 9th place. But anyway, Joseph Newgarden wins the first race of the season. Well, we're not going to be good enough to go top, because look at that, both Ardens 3rd and 4th. So we're going to be, they are the main team to compete with this season. Just behind them, I think they've got the best driver lineup. They should have the best car, the best brakes part as well. So we came overall second. Newgarden's now happy being with us. everyone's just making minor gains to their stats. Newgarden improving just about as much as the rest. We came second overall when we were expected fourth. A little bit of change to marketability. Only 870,000 coming out of the bank account. We must have paid, or we have paid a little bit of bonuses to Newgarden for coming first. F2 meanwhile, Nabil Jeffrey wins in the Trident. Prema doing pretty well, up into third with Mick Schumacher. No real big, although we got Jenson Button in the Sauber, finishing 13th. Where's the other Sauber? Pascal Wehrlein finishing 7th. So Sauber looking like they could struggle this time out. Willpower in the dams, Ollie Rowland in the dams. It looks like Charles Leclerc has actually not got a drive this season. So if we wanted to replace Jerry Vips, I could always put my favourite driver outside F1, Charles Leclerc, pretty much my favourite driver overall, and he's going to be doing some testing with Sauber at the end of this season. So maybe we could get him in the car instead of Jerry Vips, see what he can do. But Artem Markola in the Russian time finishing second. And results for Formula 3. Did we have the results for Formula 1 there first up? Yes, we did. Scott Dixon actually in the Mercedes. We were slagging them off for putting him in the car at 36 years old and 3-star rating. Putting him in the car. He has an absolutely outstanding debut. Gets up into first place. Carlos Sainz in the Toro Rosso second. Lance Stroll in the Williams third. So who is leading there? Mercedes winning, Toro Rosso second. So pretty interesting first round of the Formula 1 season there. We'll just get on to the interview quickly with Canal Plus. Accept interview at podium for our team is a great result. Joseph Newgarden raced supremely. How do you feel? We'll compliment him just to get his morale up again. Yep, gets him an extra 5%. We're still waiting on the brakes build to be built. The brakes have now been built, so we're going to switch all focus to the new brakes that we've got on the car. We're going to get them reliable. They're going to be reliable in time for Milan, which is going to be a wet race, it looks like. We've got a dilemma here from Rico Osman, our assistant. We both know Jerry could present himself better when it comes to interacting with the press. Famous communication expert Brendan Stone has a slot available in his renowned How to Talk Right media training course. Should we sign Jerry up for it? No impacts. Transact. It's a lot of money, but I'm interested to see what this media train stat does. I'm thinking it's going to hopefully give him a slight boost to his marketability. But we are going to be replacing him maybe at the end of this season. But we'll do it. I'm interested to see what it does. Just so if it does come up in future, we know if it's going to be worth it or not. So if we go here now. Media trained. Marketability plus 15. Chairman's happiness plus 5. Not strong enough to put us to 4 stars though. Joseph Newgarden only at 55%. We're at 62% marketability. We don't have any sponsors coming up anytime soon. Tag here and Rowe coming up in 3 and 4 races respectively. Right, so we're at the Milan weekend. We've got the new brake part finally up to spec at 100% as well. So we're going to get that into Newgarden's car. It's going to go in Newgarden's car. Meanwhile, Vips is going to take the second brakes part. Meanwhile, we've managed to fully upgrade the engine to its top reliability. We're currently working on the gearbox and suspension. That's going to be done after the next race, and maybe we can get the front wing and rear wing done in time for the Russian Grand Prix as well. But anyway, we're going to jump into the Milan Grand Prix here. Monza, really, it should be called. It's a pretty short track. We don't take the full track in this F3 race. Both drivers just about content, so we'll run practice qualifying off screen. You know the drill by now, and we'll be back in a second with the race. Qualifying over, a lot better than from the first race. Newgarden in first place. Jerry Vips showing it was worth spending that £1 million on him. Gets himself up into 6th place, an absolutely amazing lap. A lot of difference from the first one. We've not really done any more weight stripping than what we did for the first one, although we didn't actually weight strip for the first qualifying. As you can see, we've only gained a tiny bit of performance, pretty much down to the engine. We've improved a little bit there. Maybe that is why this Monza Milan track is a little bit more engine orientated, so maybe that is why we didn't actually get the soft tyre knowledge, because it was raining for a little bit in practice. So we're going to go with the mediums. It is scheduled to rain at some point, it said on the weather forecast before the race. Whether it does or not, I'm not sure. So we're going to be starting out on the soft tyres. These can do about 9 laps and just about get to the end of the race if we conserve tyres Might not get that way, so it might be soft medium. Obviously, there is a chance of rain in between at some point during the race. Vips is not as good with his tyres. He's going to be struggling at that point, so he's going to struggle even on that. So he might have to start out on the mediums just to see what we can do. But obviously, there is a chance of rain as well. We're not going to... Well, we might as well overtake for about half a lap. We'll go in overtake mode for about half the lap. We know it takes up a load of the engine this season. So we're only going to do about half a lap in overtake mode this time out. But hopefully Newgarden can get a good start. Both Ardens behind him, Jones and Kenan, although... There we go. Kenan gets past him in the Arden. There we got Max Chilton in the mucker as well, getting past Newgarden. But Newgarden making a move on. The Arden shoots up the inside, makes Max Chilton break early into that corner. Newgarden gets back into second place. We've gone actually a little bit longer than we wanted to here. We're going to go back into push mode on the tyres. The weather pretty hot, but it's going to start cooling down. It looks like we could be getting rain somewhere about halfway through the race, although that is not guaranteed here. We're going to look after these tyres because if we keep hold of them, we can do one stop on the soft tyres for Newgarden, although it might be soft medium. But Vips is under pressure at the moment from the 2017 champion Joey Mawson in the corner and having a little bit of a better race. Newgarden up into second at the moment. We've just got to keep an eye on the race. There's only Kenan at the moment really pushing his fuel, although he's turned back down now. We've got Newgarden in second, trying to recover this fuel. That's going to be easy. Nicholas Prost has been given a drive-through penalty for causing a collision. Don't know who that's with, but there's not a lot of cars out on the medium tyres apart from Vips, Pedro Piquet and Norris, Luke Norris as well, all the way down here in the car lane. Oh, and we've got a car off. We've got Alexander Rossi in the Van Amersfoort out of the race. Newgarden in second. He's right behind Kenan in the Arden here. Should we try push his tyres a little bit because he's going to be getting into the pits. We know we can get him onto those mediums. Although we just want to go long enough as well, just in case we get into the pits and then have to change before the rain comes. Although we've got back markers in the way at the moment now. 19th place, that is Nico Prost in front, so we're going to slow down now. We've lost pace behind Kenan. Kenan just pulling away at the moment. Really pulling away at the moment. Vip's doing really well on the slower tyres. Managed to stay ahead of Mawson even. As Buemi comes into the pits, he moves up into 5th place. So we're going to have to get Newgarden in. Oh, look at that. The rain is going to be starting. So we can conserve with Vips. Is it going to get to the point where there's going to be full wet? So that is the problem. Newgarden's going to have to pit anyway. Most of the cars around us are going to have to pit. We can just get in and push on this soft tyre for a few laps. There's no point staying out on this soft tyre because it's going to absolutely do us in if we do. But we can go into push mode with this. It's not going to be the best. We've got an extra lap here. We're not going to be able to hold on to this tyre either with Vips. So he's going to come in for this soft tyre now, which he can get onto, which he wasn't going to be able to at first. So he can get into the pits now and push on this tyre out of the pits. Newgarden, his tyre getting hot. He's up into second now, but Jones and Chilton are on the intermediate. But they should fall enough behind that we can get back out in front of them if we really push this tyre. It doesn't look like it's going to get fully wet, although it does get fully wet, although it's going to be more beneficial to get onto the intermediate as soon as we can. Can we get far enough ahead of Kenan to get into the pits on this lap to go onto the inters? Let's just see if we're going to set up the pits at the end of this lap. We're still gaining time at the moment. Is it going to be beneficial to stay out? No, it looks like we're just about losing time here. Yep. Right, this is the point that we're going to swap back over because we're starting to even up on time here. And Vips as well is going to come in for the intermediates as well. Just wanted to make sure that we put the right tyres on Newgarden there. Yeah, we did. Intermediates. Right, he's coming in for the inter. I wish there was a little bit of a note here that told you which tyre you were actually coming in to swap over to. No, we'll push right into the pits. So Newgarden is first. He's possibly going to be coming out in 3rd place. No, he just gets out into 2nd place. Right, push a little bit on this tyre. Vips is in the pits now. Hopefully he's going to get back out. He's back out into 7th at the moment. He's lost a little bit of places through the pit stops. But we've got cars that have really gone through their inters. So Newgarden's going to be a lot quicker than Canaan at the moment. Is he going to be catching him up? Although we don't want to push this too much. Although we've not really got that many laps. The Inter can go for a long time. So we can keep it in push mode here. Vips is not as quick as Buemi, but he might be quicker than these three, although I doubt it. But Newgarden at the moment, second place. We're lapping a little bit quicker than Canaan, but nowhere near enough to catch him up. We can actually go into high mode here. The engine looks like it's holding itself together this time out. So we're in second place, 8 seconds. Should we go full on attack mode? It's going to blister the tyres, but we've got 4 laps to chase Canaan down. We're under no pressure from Buemi, so we might as well try it. 5.3, 4.9, 4.8. We're lapping 3 seconds quicker per lap, so we could be catching him up before the end of the race here. 3.3. Canaan does a 1. No, we've actually got him. He's coming to the pits. He's actually pitted, so let's try and cool these tyres down. Otherwise, he's going to go, and he's going to be coming back at us before the end of the race. Medium, right? We need to go back into medium mode as well to try and recover this fuel. So Newgarden looks like he's on for his second win of the season. Canaan gets in and out in second. Vips is up into third as we've seen a couple of the other cars pit. So Vips looks like he's on course for a podium here as well. We'll switch him back to neutral. And Leshins, for some reason, went for a medium tyre. Or was he on a medium? What's he doing? No, he's come out on a medium. What? Why? I'm not sure. Maybe he doesn't have an Inter left. But Newgarden on his final lap now. We're just cooling these tyres down. There's no real reason to do that either anymore. We'll keep Vips going in neutral. Jones is too far behind him to challenge him. Vips coming down to the final chicane and comes across the line in first place. A brilliant win for him. Jerry Vips making up for the £1 million investment that we just put into his marketing training to come across the line for his first podium of the season. An amazing result considering the other drivers around him. We've got Max Chilton. We've got a lot of IndyCar 3-star rated drivers in here. Really well done from Vips. That third place is a lot more impressive pretty much than the first place from Newgarden, but Newgarden picks up his second win of the season, a third place from Vips. I don't think we will have got the fastest lap at any point because we didn't really push for him. We saw Canaan pushing his fuel at one point, so maybe he's got the fastest lap in this race. Maybe that should be something we try thinking about towards the end of a session, a race session, because it might come in handy. I know Joseph Newgarden did get the fastest lap. We can actually go back to check that. So Newgarden does actually get the fastest lap. 15 points for Vips. More importantly, where did the second Arden come? Just before. So we will now be top just over Arden. Newgarden winning by quite an amount at the moment this early in the season, but Canaan and Ed Jones in the 2 Arden cars chasing him up just behind. We are now 9 points in front, so things looking up for our promotion chasing season in F3. We've got to beat Arden. It doesn't look like any of the other teams will be troubling us, but maybe they're going to come back strong at some point in the season. Hopefully they do, because then that will slow Arden down. But for now, we're performing brilliantly. It looks like we made the right decision in our pursuit of Joseph Newgarden to get him into this team. Jerry Vips is not really improving, but maybe he will improve once we've got the HQ going. We might give him 1 season in F2 if we do get there, but we might look into replacing him in as well, just so we don't end up down the bottom. Although we're going to be under no pressure in our first season in F2, so we might keep him around. Only losing just under £1 million in this race, so we're going to be pretty much there at the end of the season. We're not going to be in any money troubles. Dixon wins again. I think this is the 3rd race in Formula 2. Yes, it is, but another win for Scott Dixon. He's currently leading over Sebastian Vettel. I don't know whether Mercedes have actually put him in the better car to make up for the discrepancy between the two skill levels of the 2 drivers, but it's once again Mercedes and Ferrari dominating. Carlos Sainz doing pretty well in the Toro Rosso here. Mercedes winning by a point over Ferrari at the moment. We see Red Bull, Williams, McLaren still really struggling here. Rapax look like they could be coming back down. They didn't make any changes to their driver lineup, but they've finished a little bit better in the couple of races that they've had over Roman Grosjean and Stoffel Van Dorn in the McLaren, Fernando Alonso in the McLaren. McLaren still having a lot of problems in this 2018 season, but Valtteri Bottas underperforming in the Force India when his teammate Esteban Ocon has picked up 18 points. F3. We know the results from our F3, so let's just finish quickly with the next interview. Jerry Vips has complained, claim that your brakes right, so brakes are awful. Remember, this one hurts the marketability, or this one does. This one upsets the chairman, which we don't want to do. We're just going to have to upset Jerry Vips, although he's not going to take any offence to that anyway. So, yeah, so things going swimmingly. This early on in the season, we've got 2 wins out of 2 races. Joseph Newgarden pretty much earning his wage. We're paying a little bit of money for him compared to what we're paying our other drivers. £400,000 per race compared to the £74,000 that we're paying Jerry Vips. We are actually paying quite a bit of money out for Christian Lundgaard, so we might think about replacing him at some point, but not until the end of this season. We might just let their contracts run down. We're going to possibly give Jerry Vips the next season, depending on whether we're in F2. If we move up to F2, then he's going to stay in the seat. If we don't move up to F2, then we're going to look to replace him, because it won't be pretty much down to him, and we might need 2 good drivers to get out of F3. It seems a little bit of a weird way to do it, but if we want to move up and we can't quite do it, it's going to be down to him, whereas the first season in F2, we're not going to really be pushing for promotion. But anyway, that is it for the first episode of this second season. I don't know how long this one's going to be with the big intro, or possibly it might be up to 50 minutes. I think they've been usually about 37 minutes at the moment, but hopefully it's a little bit under that. But anyway, until next time, we'll be back with the next 2 races, which will be Black Sea, Russia. Looks like it's going to be dry, and then we've got the really hot race, which is somewhere that might be a little bit interesting with tyre wear, because last season it was over 40 degrees and it was really hard in keeping the tyres cool. Now that we've actually dropped a point in tyre heating, maybe it's going to get really hot a lot quicker. The tyres are going to degrade a lot quicker, so it might be a little bit hard keeping win in Dubai. But anyway, we'll find out next episode whether that is the case. But until next time, hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed, hit the like button, leave a comment, all the usual razzmatazz. But until next time, we'll see you down the road in Russia and Dubai as well. But until then, goodbye.